What is my gender? That's a funny question. So pronouns, me, no, he, him, Mister, Mister Snook, man, he, man, master of the universe. I don't know. I identify as a male. I mean, for what it's worth. But it's a funny subject, because like say I so like in my family between my dad and my sister, I very much took after my mother. I have a lot of her qualities. I have the long, slender fingers, and I have I'm a slender person, and small, petite, very fiery as well. And she had a lot of smarts. She had a lot of intelligence, and I think it's not saying that my dad isn't, but like she was, more like me, anyways. And then so my sister is like more like my dad. Just shorter fingers, heavier build, and more of like an extroverted as opposed to introverted, like myself and my mother. My mother also very much principles. It's just like there was a firmness there. There's just something. That's what I mean by the fire. There's and so. But so I would say that there is an aspect of me that I feel like my mom in a man's body. There is a part of me that's like, yeah, I'm a woman in a man's body, but I don't think that this makes me a woman. I just resonate very strongly with that feminine energy. I am creative, I am gentle, I am quiet. I like to spend a lot of my time alone. I like to read. I like to reflect. I like to express myself with music, through art, poetry. Feeling things very deeply. I would describe myself as an empath. I am a person who has a capacity to feel things on a very profound level. And so, I resonate with the feminine energy, but I'm not saying I'm a girl, right? I am a man, and I have a lot of masculine energy too, and I'm very proud of that. That's why I would say I'm kind of bipolar, because I have a lot of both. But it's a funny thing, because like how gender is tied in with sexuality and stuff like that, and like like say in Hermetic philosophy, it has nothing to do that. It's just sex is the manifestation which takes form on the physical plane, but gender is more about like to do with generation, how things come into play with like positives and negatives, and just like two forces which are seemingly diametrically opposed to one another, but in fact are one and the same thing, and are responsible for the creation of yet other things, or at least the experience thereof. And so, I don't know how to say this. So it's like, over the course of my life, I haven't always I haven't always been comfortable with the way that I look. Haven't always had the sense of style that I do now. Didn't always have the confidence, and I didn't always. It wasn't easy for me, say like as a young man, with women. I struggled just straight up. I had very few girlfriends. Just put it like that, and that was tough, because like you see other guys out there and doing all this stuff, and it's just like and you might question yourself, you might question your own sexuality, and like I think that with sexuality it's very easy to you can get confused about anything. Like you look at religion, you look at politics, you look at just simple things in life, with like just diet. Like it's very easy to get caught up in ideas, and to be confused, and to not be clear, and to not be sure, and to get carried away. So it's just like with sexuality, of course it's a thing. And, you know, I could see how it would be possible, say, like if you never had any attention from the other sex, and then say somebody from the same sex showed you attention, you know, you might be tempted by that. Because, you know, I think there's a part of us all which wants to be accepted, and, you know, and likes to be, yeah, you know, yeah, accepted for what it's worth. Or like, you know, or maybe like you, if you had a bunch of experiences with, say if you're heterosexual and like you had a bunch of negative experiences, like say if I was with a lot of women, they all treated me really poorly, and I just got sick and tired of it. You know, then I could be like, okay, well, you know, think that, well, maybe this other way is for me, right? And I mean, that was it's a funny thing. It's like, because you know, there's something about me that for some reason men hit on me. Gay men, they figure that I myself am gay, and I've dealt with this my whole life. It is, I don't know, it's something that I give off. And it's like, so another thing too is like, you know, when I was young, my stepmother, so back in the day, there were certain words that were a lot more common. The word, I'm not going to say it, but, well, no, I mean, it is, I mean, no, I'm not going to say it. It used to mean a bundle of sticks, and it means a cigarette in England. But anyways, I used to use that word a little more liberally. I never use it now because it's just inappropriate. But, and she would correct me, be like, no, what you're describing is a fop, not that other F word. And then it's funny because I recently looked it up, and it's like a fop is a person who is essentially like, you know, according to the dictionary, excessively concerned with their appearance. And I must say, you know, I spare no expense on, say, hats, you know, and I make sure that they have the perfect feathers in them. And I wear clothes that fit me very well, and I wear nice necklaces, you know, so I fit the bill for a certain type of person. Because like I guess a lot of gay men, they do care. They care a lot about their appearance and whatnot, and stuff like that, you know, about being very pretty. You know, I like to be pretty. I mean, and so, you know, and I've dealt with this, and you know, I've had people that like just accuse me of being of another orientation. It's just like, no, and they're like, oh, you don't. It's just like, it's tough when somebody tries to tell you what your sexual orientation is. But you know, at the end of the day, all of that said, you know, I've only ever found myself attracted to women. I mean, so I would say that I'm a straight man who has all kinds of feelings and stuff like that and things about him. But, you know, at the end of the day, yeah. You know, and you know what anybody else is absolutely none of my business, you know, and if anybody feels differently, that's great. You know, I don't have to agree with anybody else any more than anybody has to agree with me, you know, but we can accept each other and move on, or, you know, not agree to disagree, but, you know, it's just like, it's just funny because it's such a subject these days, to do with that stuff, to do with gender and whatnot. And it's like, you know, I just thought I would share my own little personal experience of like who I am and what I go through. And it's just like, you know, so yeah.